In my 20s, I used to feel depressingly lonely, believing that if I just found some friends, I would stop feeling this way. But the truth is, I didn't feel that way because I had no friends. I felt that way because I chose to feel that way. And in this video, I will show you what I mean by that and which traps you are stuck in. I'm 31 years old now. It took me almost a decade to understand and learn most of the things that I'm about to tell you in this video. But before we do that, we need to understand what the problem actually is, which I would call the modern loneliness cycle. I used to be so lonely that I even had birthdays where not a single person would remember me. That made me feel terrible, which led me to try to cope with that feeling in any kind of form, to try and go away from it. I used video games. I played them more than anything in my life, probably over 30,000 hours, easily. That was my coping mechanism. The problem is, however, that led me to feel like I'm not so alone. I had online friends, people to talk to. Truth is, however, that was fueling my actual loneliness. It was purely a distraction from the real problem. The issue with these kinds of things, whether you scroll on Netflix, TikTok, or whatever it is that you're destroying your dopamine levels. You are destroying your happiness levels. Your baseline of happiness might be around here. But what you do and what I did by playing too many video games, overstimulating, is that you land over here, maybe even lower. You're going down the rabbit hole. This leads you to feel bad, horrible, unhappy, lonely. This then led me to feel hopeless, that I'm meant to be this way, that I'm alone. That made me feel the loneliness much more intensely, which then just restarts the cycle. The moment I had the chance, I would hop back onto the computer to cope. And this is the vicious cycle that we need to break. The main culprit is overstimulation by far. Overstimulation is not only dropping your baseline happiness, it's also wasting your time, going around the problem rather towards the problem. Let's say you have a wooden splinter inside of your finger. Instead of pulling it out and disinfecting it, trying to solve that problem, the core problem, what we do instead is to take a cream that is against pain, put it around it, and then feel like it's better. Maybe for the moment, but the splinter is still inside your finger. The core issue is not being attacked by scrolling on TikTok, playing video games. In fact, it's only becoming worse because that thing is not supposed to be inside of your finger. Your body reacts to it, it starts to infect itself, and the wound only becomes bigger and worse. That is basically what we are doing by overstimulating ourselves. You need to approach the core problem. And in order for you to do that, you need to increase your awareness. If we don't even understand and realize that there's a splinter inside of our finger, then we will never go ahead and try to solve that problem because we believe putting on some cream that is against pain is gonna solve the issue. What I highly recommend is for you to practice some awareness methods, breath work, meditation. There are so many things these days that increase your awareness. I personally do meditation, but you need to remember that you need to keep that up. I've neglected meditation and increasing my awareness for a while now, and I can feel the impact. I'm much more mindless. I hop onto YouTube and do things that I don't want to, and I don't even realize how it happened and why it happened. I've started meditating again, and I can already feel the impact, even though it's a long term progress. Becoming aware and to be able to become aware of the problem is how we can start to attack that vicious cycle. And hey, If you're struggling to break the cycle of loneliness, I get it. I've been there for over a decade, which is why I want to help 5 men this year for free. No sales, no nothing, all about helping you break that cycle. Top link in the description below. I'll see you there. Once I became aware of the fact and when the problem starts, I took the first step towards breaking that cycle, which was to get my butt outside. Staying inside my room only made things worse, ever. What I recommend is for you to go out into nature, preferably into a park where a lot of people are, so you can be around people, not feel so lonely. Because even if you don't know the people, being around them, seeing them, maybe getting a hello is gonna help you much more than playing video games in the first place. Natural sunlight, beautiful places, being not overstimulated also helps. However, only going outside is not going to solve the problem. What we need to do is basically exposure therapy. Once I got used to being outside, I took it to the next step, which was to approach strangers, have conversations with them, maybe give them a compliment. Whatever it is that is still uncomfortable for you in social interactions is the next step you should take. Keep increasing. As time goes on, keep increasing the thing you expose yourself to, because the thing you're exposing yourself to right now that is uncomfortable is not going to stay that way. Things that were uncomfortable 10 years ago, they are so easy for me right now. I can literally do them. I can do things that I couldn't even imagine before. The same is going to be true for you. You need to expose yourself. But if that is a little too much for you, you can start with a soft touch. What I did before, because it was actually too much of a task to ask, is that I went to YouTube and actually used it for good. I exposed myself to cold approaches, watched videos of crazy things that I could never imagine to do. People on a public street lying down. Why? So they can expose themselves. Maybe for the clicks too. Doesn't matter. You are going to feel ashamed, even though you're not the person doing it. You're gonna feel uncomfortable seeing those things. That is good. That is exposing yourself to these situations, to that feeling. So your brain can understand that this is normal, that it's not going to kill you, that you are understanding how that feels. These were the actionable steps that I took, and they increased my progress by a lot. Even so, I needed to do some internal work, and it starts with having a much more positive outlook on life. Right now, I am guilty of this too. I don't know how it is in your country, but Germany is very known to have a lot of nagging. We complain about all kinds of things, and that is mostly primal. We are very good at picking out negative things because they could pose some danger. However, in these modern times, these dangers don't exist as much anymore. What has helped extremely, and what I started again, is to do gratitude journaling, to point that view onto something that is positive rather than negative all the time. If you have that negative lens while being lonely, the only thing you're going to see, and that I did see, is that I felt terrible, that I have nobody there. But there were positive things to be had, like the fact that being lonely has allowed me to be much more empathetic, to understand my own emotions better once I started to think about them. You should start to be grateful for more things. We all have something positive, and even if it's something negative that you see, you can reframe it onto something positive. My negative past is now my greatest strength. What I can wholeheartedly recommend to you is to read some books or learn about body language. One of the best books that I've read is actually cues from Vanessa from Edwards. The fact that we send signals with our body language that we subconsciously also react to from other people, but also to our own body language. If you close off yourself and look small, you will feel that way. You will feel small and your body will react. Learn about body language, one of the biggest superpowers that you can have. When you do finally go out and approach strangers, one of the best things you can do is to have a script. I have been in sales for over 3 years now, and we always have a script. It's not about saying everything word for word or to play out a movie. It's to take off that pressure to know what you want to say. Having a script for cold approaching strangers, maybe giving a compliment. Think about what you want to say before. It's gonna take off the pressure off you because you know what you want to say and going to say. However, even if you do all of these things that I've mentioned to you, there's one key mindset that you need to have, and that is to understand that you need patience. None of the things that I told you are going to change your life tomorrow, but they will change your life maybe in a week, maybe in a month. It has taken me years of practice. I've felt the change beforehand, but even today, I'm still practicing. I'm still being patient with myself, learning new things, sometimes falling down again and again. You need to have patience with yourself. Be empathetic towards yourself. Stop beating yourself down for not managing things right away. It is extremely unnatural to just get the grasp of whatever you're trying to do right away. Things take time. We humans take time. And if you give yourself that time, you will be extremely proud of yourself. I can promise you that. Give yourself some positive affirmations. Once you do accomplish some things, affirm yourself. Remind yourself that what you are doing is great, that what you are doing is good, and how you are doing it is good. It's fine. Even if you aren't perfect yet, you're practicing, you're taking action. You deserve to pat yourself on the shoulder sometimes. I did that too. That's completely fine. At some point, you might have some people that do the same for you. We love compliments, positive affirmations are basically that. Be authentic to yourself. Don't try to lie to yourself. But there's always something that you are trying to do. And even if it's only the fact that you're putting in some effort, doing all of these things has changed my life by 180 degrees. I have a best friend, relationship, friends, all of the things that I could have wished for. And the feeling of loneliness isn't there anymore as many times. However, in these modern times, there are some dangerous traps, things that we use on a daily basis that are still helping us to feel lonely and to stay lonely. So you should definitely check out this video where I tell you about those.